Welcome to Superstitions, Traditions, and Definitions. I guess I'll be Kristen.
Are you going to be Kristen today? And I'm Carol. That means I'm Carol today. She's not going to steal my name.
No.
Anyway.
No, I already did that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's fine.
It was fun being Carol for a minute, but I
it.
love being Kristen.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Like, I rock Kristen so hard.
Right. Exactly.
You rock Carol so hard.
Do I?
You do.
Oh. Some days more than others.
Going to talk about middle names.
Yay!
Do you have a middle name?
Yes.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
But don't say it.
Oh.
Don't say it out loud.
Okay, I would never dream of it.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, and I'll tell you why in a minute.
Great. I would love to know.
Middle names are important.
Yes.
Most of the time.
How else do you know when you're in trouble by your mom?
Exactly.
Well, you're in trouble
when I'm in trouble by my mom, though, she uses my full first name. I am Kristen.
Okay, I call you Kristen all the time.
Everybody calls me Kristen now. My parents still call me Christy.
Oh.
My grandma called me Chrissy, and I hate that name.
Chrissy?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. You definitely don't look like Chrissy.
Mm-mm. But I was named after Kristen on Dallas. I killed JR.
Yes, you did kill JR. He deserved it.
That was rude.
He deserved it.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as he deserved it, I guess it's all right.
Yep. He's a dirty bastard.
My middle name was...
Comes from something else.
Nothing. Comes from nothing. It sounded pretty with Kristen.
Okay.
Renee. So Kristen Renee. It sounded pretty.
Ashley's comes from what?
Ashley's middle name was Lene. She was named after me.
How does that work?
Renee, Lene. They just changed a letter in her middle name.
Okay.
Ashley, her first name, Ashley.
Young and the Restless.
Young and the Restless, Ashley Abbott.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay. I used to watch that.
My mom still does.
I bet you.
Mm-hmm. So, middle names.
Middle names.
Yeah. They have been around for a very long time.
Cool.
I like my middle name.
Okay.
A lot of people don't.
I don't.
Oh, you don't have to say it then.
It's just Lynn.
Oh.
It'd be like Carolyn. It's Carol. Lynn. Oh, kind of short and choppy. Don't care for it.
Is it a family name?
Both are, yeah.
Are they?
Uh-huh.
That's cool. You weren't named after a soap opera?
No, I was named after my mom and my uncle who died when he was 4.
Oh.
I know. His name was Carol.
All right.
And my mom's middle name was Lynn.
We're going to talk about all of that stuff.
Okay. Marvelous.
Yes.
Get it? Let's go.
All right. Let's go. So, Rome. Ancient Rome.
Okay.
History has credited them with starting middle names. Okay. Making middle names a thing. Because they had a praenomen, which was your personal name, that we would consider a first name now. And then there was a nomen, which was a family name. So like your Carol.
Okay.
Which was typically a middle name. And then the cognomen, which was the branch of the family you were from, which is our traditional last names.
Okay.
So they kind of set the tone for that. They paved the way.
Gotcha. Okay.
Most of the time, though, in ancient Rome, women only had 2 names. And if you were a slave, you only had 1.
Oh.
They didn't get all of the names.
I wonder why that is.
I'm not real sure. The practice was reserved for men in the community, so I guess women and slaves weren't. I don't know where they lived, but apparently not in the community.
Okay. I guess everybody stayed home.
They did.
And you didn't need many names because you could tell each other apart at home.
At home. Exactly.
Gotcha.
So, in Italian cultures, the more names you have, the more prestigious your family is.
Wow. Can you give yourself a bunch of names?
I think the parents have to name you.
Oh.
But see, okay, my children, all three of my children have two middle names.
Oh, okay.
Solely because I had that first baby, and I loved the name Ainsley, so that was her name.
Okay.
I had two middle names picked out. One was named after her grandmother's.
Okay.
The other was named after her father and I. I couldn't decide which one I wanted, and they weren't going to let me leave.
Until you named your kid.
Until I named my kid, and I just wanted to go home, so I just wrote both of them down because they kept bringing me the birth certificate paperwork, and I'm like, I just can't decide. And then they finally said, we can discharge you, but you can't go home yet until we have this baby named.
Okay.
And
So you decided on what?
Ray and Danae.
Okay.
So Ray, her paternal grandmother's name is Ray Dean. My mother's middle name is Luann, so I took the Ray and the Ann.
Okay.
And then Renee and her father's middle name is Dale, so her middle name is Danae. Ray and Danae.
Squished it together like peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
And so because I did that with the oldest, they all had to have two.
Of course.
Because it's just not fair.
It's not. When they're like, why don't you love me enough? You give me another name. Yeah, that's what it would be.
But all 6 middle names are after family members.
Yeah.
Which 43, 45, somewhere between 40 and 50% of American names, middle names, they're named after somebody. Mm-hmm. Either a family member or godparent or something like that.
Do you know my ex-husband named his daughter with his third wife after me and Alex? I'm going to tell you she doesn't know that. His wife does not know that. There's no way in hell. No,
that's nice.
It's not. I didn't know it for a couple of years. He was picking Alex up on one of those rare occasions when he saw him. And and I have nothing against the other children, believe me, but she was little and running around the yard with Adam and Drew, who were 4, maybe. And he kept calling her Lexi Lynn. Lexi Lynn, Lexi Lynn. And by the 4th or 5th time, I'm like, her middle name is Lynn. Yeah. I said, thanks. Alexa, Lynn. Alexander, Carolyn. So, what do you say to that?
Thanks.
Yeah, that's what I'm like, yeah. He didn't deny it. He just, the names went good together, and yeah, okay. Did you tell your wife? Did you told your wife?
I feel like she should know.
Well, since I was the first wife.
I mean, $250, you can go fix that.
Oh.
It's
a hell of a story for me to tell.
I mean, it's a very awesome story for you to tell, but if I were that new wife with that new baby, I'd be like, $250, I'd go to the courthouse and fix this.
I'm telling you, she doesn't know. Otherwise, it never would have been.
Huh. All right.
Oh, well. So he said. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Well, Alex was little, and he came home and said, they're going to name the new baby Alexandra. And I about lost my shit because Alexander. So I called. He said, oh, no. We're naming her Alexa because it's so different than Alex.
I mean, they dropped a few letters.
Well, and then they said, but we're going to call her Lexi. Fantastic. And then, yeah. So that's a story I have. I mean, I was maid of honor when he got married the second time. Why not name your child after the... I know. She asked me to stand up with her and the second wife. The third wife, no. I mean, I wasn't even invited to that one. I was the lead in the first wedding. And then I was, maid of honor. Co-starring role.
In the second.
It was interesting with his family there and... me standing up there with the bride. I know. Kind of a showstopper.
And I guess since you wouldn't go play at the third wedding, he named the baby after you? I'm
guessing. I mean, they got married. I guess they eloped. I don't know.
But. I mean, whatever. I mean, whatever works for him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No. But anyway, that's my fun story with middle names. So you go.
Okay. So between 40 and 50% are family names are named after somebody like your ex-wife. I'm sure that's real common. Real common.
So super common.
There's also tradition of naming them after a priest or a saint, a religious figure.
Yeah, it's very Catholic.
Very Catholic, yes. For protection.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
So, and then there's like 20% of American names are just because they sounded pretty together, like Kristen Renee.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So not named after a soap opera, but
it's popular apparently.
Majority of the time, it's men who are named after people.
Okay.
As opposed to women named after people. They name their little baby boys after. Like 35% of little baby boys are named after family members compared to like 20% of little baby girls. But whatever.
Okay.
I mean, give the girls their own name, I guess. There was also in the Middle Ages. So the whole middle name thing kind of died down and people weren't really doing it anymore.
Okay.
In the Middle Ages, because witchcraft and everything that ever happened at all in the Middle Ages was because of or against witchcraft. Because those witches were out running around.
So that's how you live your life day to day, is avoiding witchcraft.
In the Middle Ages,
and
yes.
witches. And the bad guy. And owls. And Dark of the Moon. And
everything was associated with witchcraft.
Okay. Well, good to know.
Yes.
Good to know.
So you in order.
Is that why you cross your fingers? Is that luck too? Supposed to ward off. Is it really? Okay.
I have all the research done to do an episode on that too, by the way.
Marvelous.
Yeah.
I get to learn. Surprise me.
I will.
Okay.
So Middle Ages, witches are everywhere, just causing a ruckus.
They do.
Everything that exists in the world is either to aid or prevent witchcraft, including names now. They brought back middle names in the Middle Ages.
It's a lot of middle.
To protect babies
from the middle
witches' curses.
Oh, okay. So the middle name keeps you safe.
It does, as long as you don't tell anybody on a podcast like I just did.
Okay, well, we told everybody, so we're not in the Middle Ages anymore.
It was believed.
Yes, madam.
In order for a witch to curse you, they had to know your full name.
Oh, and if they don't know your middle name and nobody uses it, what if they give you one that's really hard to say? So
you
even
are
if
safe.
They did. Oh.
You are safe. So Middle Ages, middle names are brought back to confuse the witches.
I mean, that's as good a reason as any.
Exactly.
Sounds cool. Then you know when you're in trouble, when your mom yells at you.
But she's probably not outside.
She probably,
then that neighbor witch lady.
If that neighbor witch lady is paying attention, she's got your number.
She does.
Finished.
Why were they so worried about witches?
Witches made themselves known, and then the crops failed, and the animals died, and the sun didn't rise, and some other crap probably.
All of that.
All that jazz?
All that.
Okay.
Of course, when they were sick, they were going to that witch for herbal medicine, but whatever.
Please help me, but don't tell anybody you helped me, and then...
Oh, no, everybody knew.
Next week, you're the bad guy. Bad guy.
They were telling everybody, I need that same stuff you gave so-and-so. But whatever.
Good Lord.
But whatever.
Hypocrites.
To protect from witchcraft. You had a secret middle name so that nobody could curse
and for you. No other reason. Did witches have middle names? Oh.
Witches went by their middle name. They had a secret first name.
So just the opposite. Do witches have last names?
Yes.
Is it hyphenated? If they get married? If they get
I mean,
unmarried,
in
then?
the Middle Ages, no. First of all, you did not get unmarried. You got married when you were 7.5.
And you were married forever until
you were stuck.
Until the end of your life at 31.
Uh-huh. And you had to take your husband's name. There was no way around it. And then you were stuck with that forever.
What if he got dead before you did?
Well, I mean, then you could remarry him.
What if you wanted to hyphenate it? What if you had a cool last name and you wanted to keep it?
Nope, you had to take that husband's name.
You could take his name and keep the other name.
Nope, not allowed.
Says who? The witches?
It says the Middle Ages.
The middle-aged witches.
The middle-aged men.
The witches in their 40s. The middle-aged witches.
The middle-aged witches in the Middle Ages.
Is 40 middle-aged? 50 middle-aged?
Well, I'm 40, so no to 40, because I am not middle-aged.
Well, I'm 50 something.
How do you feel about being middle-aged?
I don't know. Am I?
I don't want to. I would rather be old than middle-aged, because I know I'm not old.
No.
So call me old.
Okay.
I'm okay with that, because I know I'm not.
But don't call you that which you are.
Don't call me that which I might be, but I am not willing to be.
Which you is.
I am not.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to live to be 140 and 70 is my middle age.
So this is, you're in infancy. You're tiny baby child.
I have tiny baby child, Kristen, at 40 years old. Tiny baby child, Kristen, 40 years old.
I'm not changing your diapers. We talked to Trish.
She's got this. She has.
Yeah, I bet she does. Yeah.
I mean, she has at one time.
I'm sure. I don't know. I don't know if maybe I'm middle. I don't know. I don't even know what old would be.
I'm going to live to be 140. I've done decided.
Okay, well.
It has.
If you're 140, then I would have to be 151 and 7/8.
What? Specific?
Huh? Well,
I'm almost 40 and a half, but not quite.
My birthday's coming up.
Your birthday is coming
52.
up. My half birthday is coming up.
You don't get a half birthday this year. Middle age.
I always get a half birthday. And I get the entire month of Christopher.
No. September doesn't bend for you.
It does too. It's Christopher.
Nope, it doesn't. Nope, not yours. Anyway, what else do we need to know about the middle name? What about your royalty having extra names? Some of them have got long, like when you've got to be named after everybody.
And that's exactly why, because you have to be named.
Well, what if you're just going to have a whole bunch of children and you could split it up between the 9 of them? Do you have to give everybody that many names?
You don't know how many kids you're going to have. Now, my great-grandmother, her name was Bertha.
Okay.
She was the youngest of 13 children.
Oh, my grandma was the youngest of 8 or 9. I mean, yours is more, but...
No, she was the 13th child.
Oh, we didn't discuss that on our 13 episode, did we?
We didn't, but she was the 13th child.
Okay.
There was a 30-year age gap.
Oh, Jesus.
between her oldest sibling and her.
Can you imagine?
No.
No, I couldn't either.
I mean, I had my last baby at 30.
I was 33. Yep.
I ain't having no more.
Well,
30 was too old.
33 was pushing it. But I got divorced in there and then got remarried and then had a couple of years and then had some babies. And,
She had 4 sisters.
She had 4 sisters?
My great-grandmother, the 13th. She had 4 sisters.
Okay.
The parents had each one of the sisters pick a name for her.
So she had 4 names and a last
Bertha,
name.
Anna, Ethel, Magdalena.
Ethel? Say it again.
Bertha, Anna, Ethel, Magdalena.
Well, damn. Okay, they just picked whatever.
Each sibling,
sister. Like they were naming a puppy?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Each sister threw a name out there.
That's kind of cute. Well, we have Andrew James when I got divorced, and it was just me and Alex for that however long. Alex wanted a baby brother named James, and he told me, I'm putting in my order for a baby brother. And he did this for a couple of years, and then Roger and I got married, and had the twins. Well, Adam Paul, Roger picked that name. Paul is his middle name. So I was like, well, we have Alex, and Roger's picked Adam, so I need an A name. So I picked Andrew. And Roger's like, no, people will call him Andy. I'm like, no, we will nickname him Drew first.
Right.
And he's like, well, Drew's kind of a girl's name. And I'm like, Drew Tate and Drew Brees.
Okay.
2 quarterbacks, Iowa Hawkeye quarterbacks.
I believe you.
He was amazing and played during this time. So then there's Drew Brees, who, you know, quarterback for the Saints. I know you don't know, but I'm letting you know.
You.
Yes.
I'm glad he was a Saint.
Yes. And then, you know, so I picked Andrew and we kept James for his middle name because Alex needed a baby brother named James.
That's awesome.
Putting in his order. He kept telling me this, and I'm like, well, I'm not married. I don't know if I'm gonna get married again. And he'd say, well, I'm putting in my order for a baby brother. He would say it slower so that I would understand.
Yes, because obviously you were not understanding.
I'm not on with the program. So yeah, so we kept James because I thought that was a cute story. He would bring up his baby brother James many, many times.
That's awesome.
Yes, it was. And then we found out we were having 2, and Alex said, it's James and Susie. Where the hell Susie came from, I do not know. Then we found out her having 2 boys, and he said, what about my sister Susie? I'm like, dude, I can't keep up with you.
You did not put in that order in time.
No sister Susie.
You were behind on that order.
Yes. You got Adam and you got Drew.
Mm-hmm.
The end.
The end. And I got girls.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
I think I got boys. Whew. Boy, mom. I wouldn't know what to do with a girl. Anyway, middle names.
Girls are amazing. So middle names.
We keep drifting and talking about our own stuff, and which I like.
I do too.
I don't know if we're boring the shit out of.
I don't know.
They might be bored.
But it's alright. It's okay.
They might be skipping ahead. Please don't skip ahead. I'm sorry.
Or do. I mean, whatever.
Whatever you want to do.
Float your own boat, dude.
Whatever makes you happy.
That's right.
Within reason, you know.
Yes, within reason. So a lot of times...
Don't go robbing a bank and saying, well, the girls on the podcast said we could. No. Nope, sorry.
Unless you're sharing and not getting caught.
Don't bring the dye pack here. Nothing to do with that.
No.
No.
So a lot of times the Italians, they had nobility, aristocracy. Yes. They all had lots of names. But fancy names. Lots of names. One of them had like 38.
How would you keep track of that? You have to write it all down. You would have to write it all down. I don't even know that I can count that
many names.
Probably not,
But they had their first name, which was the baby's name. That was the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had these middle names that were family names, like
Bethel,
John,
Ethel, May,
right.
Magdalena,
mm-hmm.
that thing.
Except for girls didn't get that. They only got the 2.
Oh, so, lucky girls.
I know. So the men, the baby boys, they got all the names. So it's like John and Earl and
Newsom and
right, all of those.
And Brady and
Brody. A lot of the middle names were last names of maternal side of the family that didn't get
so that they're represented.
Mm-hmm.
I gotcha.
So that lineage is shown,
right? Because everybody wants to be part of that.
Yep.
Okay, interesting.
I mean, my favorite part was the secret middle name, so the witches can't curse you.
Well,
I mean, once I read that, that was all I cared to talk about.
Well, that was mine until I heard about the 38 middle names, and that's a lot of ink. That's a lot of ink. How do you? I mean,
did you know that the U.S. has some states? They don't really have a limit on how many names you can give a child.
No,
but some states have a limit on the amount of characters you can use, letters.
Oh. I didn't know that, but I know that, like Penn Jillette. I think it's Penn Jillette from Penn and Teller. No,
I do know who that is.
Okay, great.
I do know Penn and Teller.
I think it's Penn Jillette that his daughter. I don't think his wife had a middle name, so she picked a middle name, and so this girl's name is Moxie Crime Fighter.
I did know that.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you lying?
No.
You're lying now. You're trying to steal my thunder because I had a cool story.
You did have a cool story, and that is a cool name.
Doesn't top the ex-husband thing, though.
It doesn't.
No.
Nothing is going to top that.
No, probably
but Moxie
not.
Crime Fighter
Isn't that wicked?
Is the best name ever.
I love it.
Ainsley's 18. I'm sure she'll adjust to a name change.
Go home and tell her, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. Ainsley Crime Fighter.
Ainsley Crime Fighter.
Right on.
I tell people that all the time.
She probably needs a little mask. to be the crime fighter.
Probably.
I mean, she needs to protect her identity and those she loves.
Mm-hmm. I tell when I need something and I have to ask somebody for help, that is always my go-to. I promise to name my firstborn after you.
But you already have a firstborn, and then you have to go and gotcha.
I mean, listen, $250 at the courthouse, it is a done deal. She will adjust. She's only lived with that name for 18 years.
Maybe she won't.
She can't be that attached.
And then she'll go and she'll change it back.
She has every intention of changing her name as soon as she did. Now that she has a job and could actually do it.
Mm-hmm. She doesn't want to
I haven't heard her mention it, but for the longest time, that was her goal. As soon as she turned 18 and she had a job and she had money, she was changing her name.
How come?
She didn't like it.
I think it's a very clever name.
It is a pretty name.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, names are important.
They are.
And I guess you should like your name.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. I mean, you had no say in it.
That's why we nickname people.
She called herself Chi-Chi Baby.
Is that why you call her Cheech?
Mm-hmm. Yes, because I called her Chi-Chi Baby.
Yeah.
I always called her Chi-Chi Baby because that is what she wanted her name to be. There's actually...
Seeing how she was in Miss Mays County last night, I saw your post.
Oh, yeah.
I always call her Cheech. You do call her Cheech.
Yeah. But she named herself Chi-Chi Baby when she was a kid.
Gotcha.
When she started preschool. That's what she wanted them to call her. The para or assistant or whatever it was in her classroom, Mrs. Dew, still calls her Chi-Chi Baby. So when this kid was like 6, I had taken her to a birthday party at the park for one of her little school friends. The family was Latino, Mexican. Anyway, they primarily Spanish speaking. So I am at the park there because I didn't know this family. I wasn't just going to leave my child because I am that mom.
Because we don't do that. Yeah, exactly.
Not
the free babysitter.
Right.
No, I'll sit here and watch.
So, yeah, I'm sitting there, just introduced myself to the family, but kind of sat off by myself.
Right.
Well, I saw her wandering away from the group, and so I hollered, Chi-Chi Baby, get back over here. This woman comes up to me. I noticed an older woman just kind of give me a dirty look or something.
Oh, really?
I'm sorry. I yelled at my child. I'm thinking,
You shut up, I do what I want.
That's right. It's my kid. I get to reprimand. So this woman comes up to me and she's like, what? Did you just call her Chi-Chi? And I said, well, yeah, that's what she wants to be called. And she giggled and she said, you don't speak Spanish at all, do you? I mean, gracias.
See or no?
and I can count to 5. The end.
Yep.
And she's like, well, Chi-Chi is a Spanish word for titty. So you just yelled Chi-Chi Baby in front of a primarily Spanish-speaking family.
Did they all look at you oddly?
Yes. That's probably why your grandma gave me a dirty look.
Yeah, probably so.
So after that, it became Cheech.
I think that's a good choice.
Yeah.
If you yell Cheech across the playground, nobody's going to...
They're going to be like, where's Chong?
Exactly.
Where's the marijuana?
Where is Tommy Chong? You got it.
But yeah. So, anyway.
Good story. Yep, no doubt.
I had no idea.
No.
But now I do.
Yes.
And so now she's Cheech.
Yeah, we're going to shorten that down because we're not going to yell Titty Baby across
the park.
Across the expanse. My God.
So,
that's
anyway.
Stuff.
I know.
Okay.
Back to names.
Yes. What are we
Aristocratic, doing? Nobility, those. I had all the names. They had all the names. Because they had to represent every single branch of the family tree.
Trying to write it all out. That has some crazy stuff.
Every branch had to have its name in there on your kid somewhere.
Gotcha.
Because, it's important.
I guess so. Yeah.
I don't know why.
Let me hear it.
So they think that, it died down.
Right.
13th century, 1300s, around that time, Italy brings back the middle name.
Gotcha.
And then some.
Okay.
And then all the middle names.
Right. Everybody's got all of the middle names.
Yes. So England, UK, that kind of area is where the rumor of witchcraft and having that secret middle name to spare you from a curse.
Was it like a secret handshake too? I mean, did you have all of the secret things?
I mean, you probably had to even sign the name and stuff.
Trap door.
Right.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the Italians are the ones who made the family name popular. Like the middle name needs to be after a family member to pay homage, or
sure.
Also,
because it rolls off the tongue, sounds good.
Another common practice.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we have to protect those babies.
Yes.
There was belief that if they had the middle name of a saint in particular, because we're Italian and we're Catholic.
Okay.
It had to be a saint, but you were not only protecting your child, but giving them the character trait
of that
saint.
St. Jude. That would be a good one. John the Baptist was my saint when I joined the Catholic Church. Because
you got to have your own saints?
Yeah, I picked.
You get to pick your own saints?
I was joining the church, so
right.
my parents didn't pick for me because I was already named. Yes.
What? I don't understand. I'm Baptist. We don't have saints.
No, I know, but the Catholics do. So
and a child gets a saint.
Yeah. So my saint, I picked John the Baptist.
Like a godparent. If your parents die, is that saint coming back to raise you?
I would love John the Baptist to come back.
He was a good guy.
His humility alone.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
I would be concerned with what he's going to feed you.
Well, yeah,
living in the wilderness
yeah. The boys, we were at church one day, and Drew, one of them was very concerned about him eating locust and honey.
Right.
They thought he should go to the store or something.
I mean, he should have.
But
whatever. Maybe that was his favorite meal.
That was what he did. He was preparing the way. He was not concerned with what he was eating.
Exactly.
Preparing the way for Jesus.
That's right.
I am not fit to hold his sandals.
That's right.
Yes.
And he didn't want to baptize him because
he didn't. He was not worthy. But Jesus made him worthy.
That's right. They were
told
cousins.
him, "You're who I choose," in the River Jordan.
That's right.
And it's a beautiful story, and it's one of my favorites. So, John the Baptist was my saint that I picked to, I don't know, be my patron saint, I guess.
Oh, okay. So, but typically it would have been your parents.
Probably.
That picked your patron saints.
Yeah, if you're born into it.
If you're born into it. All right, so it spread all over. And now almost every culture uses middle names for some reason
to avoid witchcraft.
Not necessarily to avoid witchcraft, I think that is an amazing purpose.
I just gave my kids middle names because that's what everybody does.
Because it's tradition, yeah.
I never thought about why do we have middle names.
Right. I mean, and I know a lot of people who were, like my brother, Aaron Dwayne. Mm-hmm. His first name is his first name. There's no, he was named after something, I'm sure. Some soap opera or something. I don't know. But Dwayne was my dad's middle name. So he was named after my dad. And I know a lot of people that were named after somebody.
Okay.
But I'd never really given much thought.
No, not at all.
To it.
I don't know where you came up with that, but that's cool.
It's
not some of the crazy ass shit that I send you in like a whole big line.
No, this was, I was doing something, I was on Instagram or something, and something popped up about protecting yourself from witches.
And that got your attention.
And so there was something about middle names and witchcraft, and I'm like, what on earth is this? Why? They already took the owls and the moon and
Yep.
And we have to make little marks all over our chimneys. And what about middle names did you need?
Yep. One more thing.
And that's what it was.
Yeah. Awesome.
So lots of middle names.
Mercy. Okay.
And usually for a family member or a saint to protect, which I'm going to, it never said it was primarily Catholic, but
I'm going to guess.
I'm going to assume, because I know Southern Baptists, we don't have saints.
I don't know.
There
might be some that do, but
Episcopalians, maybe.
They're cousins
to Catholicism, so I don't know. Okay. I just thought it was interesting. We still, however many hundreds of years later of middle names, it's still more common than not to.
It is more common than not. I don't know anybody who's like, Kristen Riley. Riley. There's nothing in the middle. It just feels, it feels flat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and almost half of everybody's middle name is after somebody.
Yeah.
But there's also, like, a lot of times they would use a deceased family member.
Yeah.
But then there's also superstition about that. If it was a child that passed, you're not supposed to name a baby after a deceased child.
I am.
Well, we won't talk about that.
Okay.
It's bad luck to name a baby after a deceased child.
Well, my younger brother is also named after. I've got the first name, and he's got the middle name of our uncle. And then my youngest brother, who died about 11 years ago now, he had asked my mom once, well, he's not named after anybody. So he felt bad about it. She's like, well, okay, the names we had left were Howard, Orrin, Milton, Merle. So he was okay with Stephen Michael.
He's like, you know what? I'm happy with what I got.
He was okay with Stephen Michael after that. Because,
I can imagine.
There were Earl. Did I say Earl?
I'm like an Orrin.
Yeah, Orrin was my grandpa Carr. He was a really good dude, too. He died on the 4th of July one year.
My great-grandmother, the 13th, was born on the 4th of July.
No kidding.
In Scotland, 99% of children born after 1780 had middle names.
Oh, wow. At least one.
Yeah, at least one. Europe, middle names, they were most popular, or gained the most popularity in the 19th century. But Scotland was like ahead of the game.
Yep.
Pablo Picasso was baptized with a string of more than 13 names. Pablo Picasso.
Because? Did he give them to himself? Did his mom give them to him?
I'm assuming his parents did if he was baptized with it.
I mean,
he would have been a...
Well, if he was baptized, and was he grown when he was baptized? Does it say?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, it depends one way or the other. If he was a kid, it would have been, what his parents gave him. But when he got older, he could have picked his own names.
Yeah.
So
he tried to use all of them, though. I did remember that, too.
We could marinate on it. And
Picasso's paintings were... His older paintings were signed P. Riaz.
Okay.
It was one of his names.
Oh,
P as in Pablo.
Right.
Riaz, one of his middle names.
Oh, okay.
He just played around with the string of names he had until he settled on his first and last name, I guess. Pablo Picasso.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Middle names. Lots of exciting stuff.
Once again, protecting you from witchcraft. Those evil witches in the Middle Ages.
Away. I have a middle name, and I am not afraid to use it.
That's right. And I'm not going to tell you what it is because I'm afraid you will use it.
Exactly. But I'm going to use it for safety.
That's right.
You can't come near me.
And to make it extra safe, it was after patron saints.
Mm-hmm.
So they're
don't come
protected.
John the Baptist right here.
That's right.
Stay over there. Scary witch that I don't believe in anyway, but stay over there.
That's right. Or I was named after my grandpa, and he's gonna be mad.
Yep.
He can come get you.
He might. Grandpa don't play.
Mm-mm. I still want to know why Roman women didn't get to have middle names. They were only allowed to.
Well, why don't you find out, and we will report later.
All right.
I
don't think anybody knows. I mean, how do you ask the ancient of Romans? That have been dead and gone for many, many years.
Maybe somebody chiseled it on the wall someplace.
Probably.
Women don't get no middle names because...
Don't give those crazy women names.
So many letters. Maybe that was it, because it's hard to chisel all this stuff in rock. They're like, you know what?
Right. They probably did have stone birth certificates.
We're going to name you Lou. And there it is. L-O-U. That's easy enough. I don't
Or just L-U. If you want to get really creative.
Yeah, and really short. Mm-hmm. I mean, that chiseling, that's no joke, man. Hurt your hands, chop, chop, chop.
I'm more worried about the Italians with that. Like, how'd they keep enough ink? They would have 16 kids of their own, plus giving their 16 kids 16 names.
They were industrious. They would go out and make their own ink. They had to.
They had to.
Or there would be no record. Got it. That's it. Right. Figured out. We have solved the world's problems.
All of the problems today.
Involving middle names and witches.
Middle names and witches and Italians.
And the patron saints that are not Baptists or Presbyterian, probably not.
I doubt it.
Go with
Methodist.
that. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Possibly Episcopalian, but we aren't sure.
Possibly, but yeah.
All right.
Good talk.
Good talk.
All right.
Middle names.
Indeed.
The end.
Yes. See you next time.
See you next time.
Subscribe.
Do that.
All right.
She loves you. I have a fondness.
Indeed we do.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye.